What's up, guys? How are we doing? Happy Friday the 13th, everybody. It's hard with this thing on because it covers up so much of your face. How's everybody doing tonight? All right, now you can see me get out of the old adage. Let's see if I can get on out of here. This is going to be fun. You guys can see this happen live on camera. I got a little bit of sweat going, so maybe it'll be easy to get out of this. This is like an authentic... there we go. Woo! All right. We're here. This is like an authentic... this thing cost me so much money. An authentic silicone bust from Jason Goes to Hell, if you guys are familiar with the Friday the 13th franchise. But all right, let's liven the mood up, guys. We got to hype up. It's Friday night, you know what I mean? I've been waiting to do that all day. Let me make sure my hair is okay. Keep the kid, accept the flesh hood. Oh, that's true, yeah. All right, so how's everybody doing tonight? And you know, it's Friday the 13th. We kicked things off with Jason Voorhees himself. I wanted to do something a little more animated, but I figured, no, let's not ham it up too much. But it wouldn't be a Friday Night Live if we didn't have a brewski in hand. Got to crack open the good old Sam Adams. And let's get this thing going. So right now, what we're looking at, let me change my settings. I also darkened the settings up a little bit. Pardon me, guys. 1 second. I'm just gonna change the nightlight mode. Turn that off. There we go. All right, now we're back in business. Good old Weather Center regular mode. But yeah, how are we doing, guys? Gabriel, if you're, I see you're in the chat. Did you hear our favorite part of the lobby waiting music? Oh shoot, honestly, yeah. I would storm chase in this. Florians must complain because it's so cold. Welcome back, Mr. Castle. Good to see you in here. Everybody, how's it going? Let's say hello. We'll let everybody start tuning in. We're looking at 94L, and you know, I mean, even though during the first couple of panels of this satellite view, it looked a little disorganized, but I don't know if you guys can tell, but we're slowly but surely starting to get a little bit of spinach going on in there. You can see it. There's a little bit of a low-level circulation starting to form up. Let me clear my work center. I have all this stuff everywhere now. I have Jason Voorhees paraphernalia in here. And then just wait, because when Halloween comes around, Michael Myers is definitely making an appearance, that's for sure. I got to figure out where to put these. I'm trying to decide where I want to put them in the background, but I haven't decided fully yet. Well, that was a scary entrance. Star Trek Online has been frightening me all day. Super Charas, sorry about that, in a good way. And like they say, you know, if, for other fans of another familiar franchise, it's Halloween. Everyone's entitled to one good scare. Anybody get the reference? Brooke, I'm glad you took to the music as well. Sam Adams still coming in clutch. The frickin' I had to. I was thinking about what I wanted to play in the background. Should it just be the or should I do the lobby music that a few of us are very familiar with? We're gonna hear that after the stream. After this, we're all running Friday the 13th, the game, in celebration of Friday the 13th. Can I play a Roblox Hurricane Simulator today? I didn't even know that was a thing. My brother's more well-versed on Roblox than I am. I've never played that before. Hello from Boston, Miss Anonymous 617. Welcome in. Already looks like a developing TS. It does, yeah. I mean, you know, I got this new mic stand, and it's big. It's a big one. And I thought that it would come in clutch, but now it's just kind of getting in the way. Let me go ahead and drop the mic. Do this. Is there a way I can tighten? There we go. That works. This is cool. I like this. This definitely works. It's right up in my face. You guys can hear me clearly, and I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. But yeah. And then you can see Sean to the left-hand side of the screen still struggling out there. Center of circulation is totally exposed. And, you know, it's crazy because people are still mentioning that there's a lot of shear out there, but you can blatantly see that the shear is all well to the north of our Invest 94. Because you can see all this upper-level cloud cover getting sheared this way real bad. And then our center is starting to form up somewhere right in through here. And I mean, there's a little bit of indications of shear to the north side of it, right up in through this area, just to the south of the Cabo Verdes, but not a whole lot of shear right over the center of circulation. Hi, Miko, what are you doing? Okay. I'm playing Roblox right now. We stand with Israel, yes. I was just talking to somebody about that earlier. It's really, it's devastating to see what's going on over there. Sometimes it's very difficult to talk weather, with all those things going on overseas. I just watched someone shared on Instagram how I think it's day 6 or day 7 of them just bombing over there. Greetings from I like that Halloween pumpkin. Greetings from Upper Tampa Bay Weather Center. Dang it, I missed it beginning of the show. Yeah, sorry, Kevin, you missed it. I'm all sweaty and all dorked up now. Off topic, do a meatball head outro after you sign out for the night. I gotta walk off camera. I might. We'll see. I'm already warming up in here. I'm actually getting very hot in here. I saw Mr. Castle had mentioned I'm hyping Halloween. You know what? I'll hype Halloween. At least no one can. Well, I guess you could technically yell at me for that, but it's better than hyping the weather. Because after how bad the Euro switched gears on us, I wasn't anticipating for the Euro to pull a GFS like that. I woke up this morning and I saw the 0Z and I'm like, and here come the comments. Here come the comments, that's for sure. Hello, everyone. Is that a spin I'm seeing there? Yes, Aurelia, definitely. There's definitely a little bit of a low-level spin starting to get going. And that's all it takes, too. It's a very slow process. You don't have a whole lot of momentum with these storms until they really start to deepen down. But the fact that excuse me, beer burps are starting, is the fact that you can already see a low-level spin underneath this convection that's trying to get going, that shows that we're trying to intensify. And you can see all that convective activity that blows up towards the very tail end of the satellite run. Let's go over to, let's do a different satellite image. Can I get a wide shot of that area? Look at poor Sean. You can't even tell it's a storm anymore. There's like nothing associated with it. But anyways, yeah, guys, rapid intensification of Halloween spirit. I definitely agree with that. Hype the Halloween Future Caribbean System, October 29th time frame, not 94. Odell's Legacy or Legacy. Where are you seeing that? I called you out for hyping. I was being conservative about 94. Be careful, especially 10 plus days out. Yeah, and I blatantly admitted it in my video today. As soon as the video took off, because I know sometimes people only tune in for like the first 60 seconds, I made sure to let people know that I sounded the alarm. I did, because it's not every day that all of our models, to include the Euro of all things, go full GFS and go all the way down to the 920s in the millibar range. So, and the reason I did that is not necessarily because of the storm itself. It's because at the time and over the last few days, a number of our models before the Euro caught up to them were indicating that we could see a potential big hurricane. And a lot of the models still are. I mean, even the GFS is technically on board with developing it now. It just takes its own track. It's just kind of doing its own thing. Anybody in the chat still dealing with leftovers of the severe weather event that we had over the last couple days? I've been seeing more and more videos and pictures coming out of that, and more images of the overnight stuff. I've had a few folks Instagram me some video as well. Saw a video that was sent to me by one of you guys of a tornado that was rolling in as a water spout and then turned into a tornado, and in the midst of filming, it knocked out the power, and all you could see it being lit by were the transformers going. That's scary. How close are we? I'm glad that you brought that up because, yeah, I know we don't talk too much about 18Z GFS because it's a continuity run more than it actually is, a live run. But dang, that's all I'm going to say is shoot, for lack of better terms. Look at what happened. So there's our first system. And I know this is GFS, guys, but I've noticed, and Mr. Castle can attest to this, we used to use the half GFS parameter when we would do our synoptic charts at the weather squadron I used to work at. So it's not like the GFS is terrible, especially when it comes to synoptic analysis. But take a look at what happens here. Something comes out of the Gulf. You can already see it down there at the lower bottom or the bottom portion of the chart. And then we have this low deepening down over, what is that, Wisconsin, headed in towards, I'm not good with the upper Midwest states. I know this is Michigan, Iowa, Wisconsin. Is that's not no, that's not Missouri. What state is this? I apologize. Either I'm already feeling this brewski or I'm just still in meatball head mode. But anyways, watch what happens as these systems intersect, and then look at what kind of storm development we have off the southeast coast. And look at how much this bombs out down to a 968 millibar nor'easter. Now, this is 200 hours out, and so you could argue that this is not likely to take shape, or at least to that extent, but that's wild, guys. If you put that in comparison to our Saffir-Simpson scale, there we go, in Minnesota, thank you. So Minnesota and then Wisconsin. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's a powerful low. Does it get any deeper than 962, 961? And then it finally levels out right about there and then begins to move off to the northeast. And see, that's why I was a little upset about people hyping up Tropical Storm Ophelia. Because look at that. That is an entire eastern seaboard storm. And I know that you guys were mentioning that the Euro at 12Z was also picking up on that. You can see it right there, albeit, of course, a little bit of a weaker rendition of it. But it still shows cyclogenesis off of our coastline, right over the Gulf Stream, too. So you could argue that it could also be some kind of a multi-perspective or a hybrid type of storm, if anything, because you have all that tropical energy coming out of the Caribbean. And what's going to be very interesting is to see if this gains some momentum and actually tries to develop upstream of Florida. Because you switch out and you go to the western Atlantic, and you can already see it coming out of the Caribbean. It's just the model does not want to develop it. You get a little bit of something going on off of our coastline. You can see it in the winds. There's already what looks to be a closed center there, trying to get its act together before it moves across the state, and then the Euro wants to deepen it as it goes across the state and then moves into the Carolinas, and then it really just starts to go ham. What I found interesting, and I keep forgetting to bring it up in my videos, but if you go over to the UK model, and actually I think we should have 12Z UK Met model data in by now, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, vorticity. Yep, there it is. So 12 Zulu. If you watch down in this general area, the UK model is picking up on something kind of coming across AORs. There it goes. Look at that. It kind of just stays there, though. I will admit that. That's a little weird. I don't like how the UK makes it stationary. It pulls it out of the East Pac and then just hangs out there along the Central American coastline. And then the UK Met is calling for a powerful storm out of Invest 94, grazing, doing like a tropical storm Philippe kind of ordeal right there. You can see it deepening down. And then there's our trough system. So a lot to keep an eye out for. A lot to keep an eye out for. And that's why I didn't really backpedal too much today in my video segment, because we still have a good amount of a model agreement that we could still see something really organized with 94 out there. Let me see what the pressure is on that. I haven't looked at the pressure. 995 millibar low. So a mid-grade tropical storm, maybe high-end tropical storm. Deepens down a little bit more as it gets closer to the Windward Islands, or the Leeward Islands, I should say. And then we have something trying to develop right there. Let's see. I'm missing the chat. I apologize. Ethan's Life, thank you for the $2, buddy. I would tip you 13, but that's not an option. That's okay. I appreciate it nonetheless. If 94L becomes a major, that would put us at 20 storms, 7 hurricanes, and 4 majors, which would be insane for an El Nino year. I agree. Nazario looks like GFS and Euro want a huge nor'easter now. GFS showed it for a couple days now. Yeah, definitely. Wow, Alex, please be careful. Sean be like, pay attention to me. Yeah, exactly. Do you think if it goes far enough west in the Caribbean, would it affect the U.S.? It really depends. I'd say like I'm 98% positive that it's not going to be an issue for the lower 48, I'll say, because we have obviously entities of the United States in the Caribbean. I use air quotes dramatically. In terms of the lower 48, though, actual continental U.S., I don't think so, at least right now. One interesting feature of note, though, and I wanted to put a little more emphasis on this during the live stream tonight, is if you look at our 12Z Euro data, now that it's anticipating a weaker storm, notice how a lot of them actually go into the Caribbean and a little bit further. And it actually almost looks like the Euro wants to bring Sean back and push him west. Because if you notice, these are actually Ensemble members with Sean. This is 94 back here. So the euro it's up to something. It's definitely up to something because we're getting some ensemble agreement for Sean moving through the Caribbean, trying to strengthen all the way down to one of these members is a 960 to 979 member right there. And then you have all that agreement that we're going to see something either above the Windward Islands going through the Lesser Antilles. Puerto Rico could take a hit from it, albeit a little bit weaker. And what's cool too is you can see the difference between a stronger solution has it going out to sea a little bit faster, and then a weaker solution has it going a little further to the west before bumping up against all of our frontal activity right in through there. Like, has anyone in here, besides Gabriel, because I know him and I have seen it religiously, has anyone in here seen Independence Day? Just cloudiness. Do you think if it goes this weekend will be the 5th out of 6 weekends will rain here? Yep, I live in tomorrow is my mom's birthday, but I'm sad it's going to rain tomorrow. I'm sorry about that, JJ. The government of Barbados has mentioned 94 Ls. They are on the development cone now. That's good. I'm glad that they're talking about it. A little thunder here in Jupiter this morning. It's all calm. Now, I did notice that. We had some lingering overnight storms even out here. I looked outside, and I'm like, wow, this is definitely looking very Friday the 13th outside. That's weird how they want it stationary there. Yeah, I know. I've been seeing that on other models, too. The Canadian model's been doing that a lot, too. But anyways, guys, I see that you're answering Independence Day. You remember the scene when Will Smith and his partner go in the jets, and they go to attack the alien warship, and even on their little map, they have that force field, and they always keep saying, negative impact, that's a negative impact. That's exactly what's happening here. We have all that leftover cold air and high pressure over the south and southeast that anything that goes straight in is just going to bounce off of it. It's going to be deflected out to sea. It's going to wash out if it's too weak and go into Central America. So at this point in time, I really don't think we're going to see anything, at least in terms of our main development region areas. If you guys remember a number of... I agree, Elite Chief Star. We did not ask for Independence Day resurgence. There was no need for that. It was a cash grab. And, yeah, no, it was rushed. It was not good at all, unfortunately. Even with all the star power they brought back, it just wasn't good. But if you guys remember a number of Weather Center segments and live streams before, I had told you that anything that forms from this area out is going to go up. There's no way it's going to make it to the United States. We would need something to form down in through here and try to get out of the Caribbean into the Gulf to become an issue. Or if we did get something in the Western Caribbean, like some of our models have been hinting at, then it would definitely be a prevalent threat. But with these two systems out here, it's very, very unlikely that we're going to get anything in the lower 48. Definitely very unlikely. We just have too much frontal activity and too strong of troughs coming off of the coastline now to really let anything in. Let's take a look at oh no, it's only 8:20. We don't have GFS data in our ensembles in yet. Let's go and look at probabilities. We'll look at tropical depression probabilities. So yep, we're still seeing a huge highlighting for 94L. I mean, we're still getting a little bit of developmental probabilities out there in the Caribbean. They've been very, very slowly doing some incremental increases right in through here, that Western Caribbean. I mean, I've still been keeping an eye on it, and it's been there. It's been not trending per se, but it's been steadfast in removing it altogether. If there's a high over the southeast, the Florida Panhandle is safe. Yeah, the whole entire lower southeast portion of the U.S. and even the upper mid-Atlantic states and northeast is fine. We'll have to wait next year. Yes, next year will be troublesome. There is trouble on the way next year. I agree. I've been thinking about that a lot. I really want to do like a little internal case study and really take close looks at what our buoy temps look like and what the trends look like over the next several months and what our sea surface and ocean heat content analyses look like as we go through winter and when they start to come up as we get closer to next hurricane season. Because if the waters stay as hot as they are and we decide to go into a neutral pattern or a La Nina to where the Atlantic is a hot zone for tropical cyclones, couple that with these hot waters we had all year, the only thing we'll have going for us is tapping the waters of their energy. If we get really significant storms in a very favorable setup, like a La Nina or even just a neutral phase between the two oscillations, the only thing we'll have going for us is any major storm is going to zap that area of a lot of its energy. So that's the only thing that might stop an above average hurricane season from being above average, because we'd have too many storms out there to where the ocean would just essentially be zapped of all of its potential energy. Y'all can chase hurricanes. I will run the other way. We're probably going to have more tornadoes to chase as we get closer and closer to full-fledged wintertime, especially with that next system going through. That's going to be another big one. That's going to definitely be another intense situation for us, not only in Florida, but across the Southeast. Let's see what we can look up here in terms of what kind of dynamics we're going to have in play down there. Let's see. So let's look at the temperature anomaly. Yeah, look at how much cold air we have. So there's our current front situating itself through, and then look at how much warm air we have. Well, actually, this doesn't do a very good job. This definitely doesn't do a very good job. We have little. Let me go ahead and do something different. That didn't help my case at all. I know at 850 you can see a better delineation between the two. Yeah, there you go. You see all that warm air surging out of the south just in time to meet that cold pocket that's breaking off of the polar front jet and moving its way through the Gulf Coast states into Florida, and that could definitely trigger some bad weather. Such a stark contrast between two different air masses. And then you look at the relative humidity, and it goes without saying we have a lot of it coming north with that, whatever the case, whatever that system is. It makes you wonder if we could make a run for some kind of a tropical entity. It doesn't seem like it. We have too much dry air out there initially. What does the shear look like? Yeah, no, way too much shear. Way too much shear. That's probably why the model doesn't want to develop it. It had to punch through all that redness to make a run for Florida. So that's definitely going to be another jet-supported system. Just like Ophelia, but everyone wanted to call it a tropical storm. Follow low-pressure positions for the next 4 months. That is called recurring cycle pattern forecast. I'm sure you've seen pictures of here today. It's so sad. Almost every building up at US 19 has damage, with a lot of buildings flat. My house has roof window damage, new palm trees ripped like paper. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that stuff. You know, it's... Oh, I didn't even realize you were in here. It's been very discouraging to see that, and I even put in my latest video, you know, for people who routinely tune into my videos, I really hope that I didn't drop the ball somewhere, flipping back and forth from Great Plains, tropics, Southeast, Gulf of Mexico. I mean, I tried to pick up on it miles and miles in advance. I tried. And during the first couple days, I know it seemed like hype because it looked like it was going to be tropical. There were a lot of things that definitely looked like it was going to be a tropical entity, and I still stand firm in my hypothesis that if we didn't have that subtropical jet, if we didn't have that El Nino type setup, that thing would have definitely been a tropical storm, if not a hurricane hitting us. No question. No question. You guys saw the initial phase of it on satellite. It was trying to get a low-level spin going, and then once it ran right into that STJ, it just got ripped apart. And that's also what we had going against us in terms of, you know, weather development or what type of phenomena we saw. And that's why it very much so upset me when a few people were commenting on my, not only my one live stream about Ophelia, but also a couple of my videos I did on Ophelia griping about the characterization of that system. Because you had jet support. It was weird looking at WPC because there were fronts attached to it, and then the only reason they got rid of the fronts is because National Hurricane Center went ahead and classified it as tropical, and there were people getting mad at me like saying, bruh, why are you worried about classifying it when it's bad weather? It's like, because you're going to see different interactions, you're going to see different phenomena with different types of systems. You're not going to see what we saw, at least to that magnitude, with a tropical system as much as we saw with an El Nino system, and vice versa. You're not going to see certain phenomena with a tropical system that you wouldn't see things in an El Nino type system or a standard, baroclinic low as you would in a tropical system. There's so many different mechanisms and internal just moving parts. Let's put it that way, for lack of a better term. There were, I forget the statistics, somebody fact-checked me on it, but I believe I saw somewhere that there were 30-some-odd tornado warnings overnight. And, people still wanted to come at me and say, and nothing happened. It's like, you know what? Are you kidding me right now? Are you really trying to tell me that nothing happened? Today I'm losing my train of thought now because I'm trying not to get into a passionate tirade again. But loved Independence Day. Yeah, no, excellent movie. Excellent movie. Next weather system is severe. Yeah, I agree. Last time we had tornadoes in October was from Tropical Storm Nestor. I watched live of a tornado move into Palm Coast yesterday. Yeah, the U.S. is done for this season. It definitely looks like it. At least, yeah, the United States, for sure. Next time, emphasize and educate. Excuse me. Oh my God. Also, live stream next severe weather event. That's the plan. I definitely want to start live streaming severe weather events. And believe it or not, I've done a number of El Nino videos. Dear God, I am so sorry. I've done a few different El Nino videos, and I've definitely started talking about them in my videos. It's just, unfortunately, I guess because I've started this channel during the heart of hurricane season, everyone tunes in and wants to talk tropics. And I think that YouTube pushes this to people who are actively searching tropics as opposed to wintertime and El Nino and low pressure fronts. Like I'm almost, and I know for certain that once we get fully out of the tropical season, not only is my page, but I know a lot of other people's pages are going to suffer on YouTube because all they've done is hype things up. Like I still won't get over how people are downplaying what's going on with 94L right now, but then they wanted to hype up and put life-threatening Philippe. It's like, make up your minds, guys. Like, go one way or the other. Are you putting emphasis out there to tell people, or are you just doing it to bring in the views? Because there's a big difference. And that's why I did what I did yesterday when I saw that 929 Category 4 Borderline 5. I punched it out there, not for hype, but because, hey, look, we have a lot of parameters coming together to suggest this, and what do you know? I mean, you win and you lose. You can't win them all is what they say, so I'll take that on the chin. I just have a soft spot for Puerto Rico and the islands out there, especially Puerto Rico because I have a lot of family down there. So I don't take any prisoners. I would do the same thing if I all of a sudden saw a hurricane coming towards Florida that was a 970, and the next thing you know, we woke up like Ian, and we went from a Cat 3 to a Cat 5. I would hype it up, like no doubt. Hurricanes thrive off hot water, so that's what the difference with tornadoes. Why do they grow stronger over ground, or is that not the case? So, Thomas, if I'm understanding your question, what I'm thinking you're asking is, since hurricanes thrive off of hot water, what is the difference? Oh, yeah, I just read your question wrong. I'm so sorry about that. So the difference with tornadoes is there's totally different parameters. I mean, you do technically have the same dynamics, just from a synoptic scale, or I guess you could almost say a mesoscale, smaller between synoptics. Synoptics, like we're talking country or, multi-state size. I guess you could say hurricanes or Mr. Castle, what would you say if you're still in here? Would hurricanes be more mesoscale or would they be more synoptic scale? But anyways, you technically have the same dynamics and the same internal principles happening within a hurricane or a tornadic vortex. But the thing is, to get either of the two, you need totally different environmental conditions. With hurricanes, like you said, you need that hot water, you need very good moisture, very little wind shear in the upper levels, whether it be speed shear or directional shear to not shave off the tops of those thunderstorms. Because in reality, as you get that upward vertical motion, where the real magic happens with hurricanes is in the sinking air. When you rise up and you release that latent heat, or you have that latent heat exchange that occurs in your thunderstorm clouds, it's actually the sinking air and the repetitive cycle of that happening in time inside of your hurricane that allows it to broaden, and in the center you have that deepening trend as it picks up that spin. It starts off moving slow like we saw with 94, and then as it goes on and on and on and on, all that sinking air has only one area to go, and that's in the center, and that's how you get that eye. It's like a little localized area of high pressure. I mean, not necessarily high pressure, but it's got like, it's sinking in this. I don't know how to describe it in layman's terms. I'm sorry if I'm losing you guys. Remember that I predicted a major hurricane in the Central Caribbean? Yeah, I do remember that. That's for sure. I had 2 tornado warnings. Thankfully, no tornadoes. That's very good. Keep doing your thing. Never mind them. Yeah, we love you from PR. Devil Atelier. I'm very thankful to hear that. I have you guys in my best interest, that's for sure. YouTube algorithms are difficult. I think make some thumbnails of El Nino and tornadoes. People like watching tornado content. Yeah, I agree with the tornadoes, that's for sure. El Nino, I mean, unless you already have a big subscriber base, I've seen people try to do it and they struggle, and then others, they somehow profit off of it. Tornadoes can be so devastating in Southwest Florida with all the mobile homes here. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to dork around with tornadoes in general. It's crazy to think that what we hype up as a Cat 4, a Cat 5 hurricane, that is equivalent to only an F2, maybe an F3 tornado, if I'm remembering the EF scale correctly. I believe an F1 by itself is already between 75 to 110, 115 mile an hour winds, although I know that they've done away with strictly classifying them off of projected wind speeds, and they do more damage assessment now, but you get the picture to put it into perspective. I watched Citrus County get hit hard. I had a bad feeling as it was going on for over an hour. Hotspot was there. That's how weather works. They need to break a Dahlia and name this storm. Yeah. Will Invest 94L affect Trinidad? At this point, I'm leaning more and more against it. There were a few models over the last few days that wanted to track it a lot more south, but I think what's happening is we're starting to see high pressure breakdown, and on top of the high pressure breaking down, we have such a potent trough that's getting ready to dig itself in across the east coast of the U.S. that it's actually going to help to deviate our pattern a little bit and slow things down. So despite having low pressure out there in the Atlantic now, advecting out and allowing high pressure to build in on the backside with that blocking pattern, for those of you who watched my video, I'd explained how we're going to have a blocking type situation not only out west, but out east as well as everything begins to strengthen or amplify. And I think what's happening is it's going to slow down the progression of really seeing a high pressure center build in the Atlantic. And that's why I think our models are slowly but surely trying to scoot it to the north again. So, great news for them. It might be bad news for us down here, especially if that one system that we saw in the GFS really does get going. I think it was on the 12 Zulu GFS as well, one of the hot model runs. Let me see. Almost positive that it was. Yeah, there you go. There you have it. In fact, 12Z looks a little more menacing. Yeah. And then there goes GFS doing its GFS thing. Oh, look at that. We have a Cat 2 hurricane in the Bay of Campeche. Psych. You thought. The problem is that people that live in Florida usually have a normal thunderstorm. People get complacent and they don't think anything can happen, but prayers for people in Florida. Matthew F-150, 175%. In fact, Florida is terrible. And if you're watching this right now, I'm talking about you, and I don't mean you guys in the chat. I mean whoever is passing by and sees this live stream. I'm talking about you out there always hyping up a hurricane and wanting to go party and do whatever other dumb crap as opposed to actually taking the weather serious. And that's where you also have to tread lightly in the way you broadcast and advertise things, because people are undoubtedly, no matter what it is, no matter what the case may be, they're going to take it as hype because they're so used to just partying and gallivanting and going out and doing hashtag Florida man stuff in there. Tornadoes all night long. We was on the money. Yeah, we were. We definitely were. We forecasted a 2-week out system and I was off by 1 day. So this winter may be more busy than winter of 06, 07. Those were high school days for me. Wow. I see. That was late middle school going into high school for me, PM. It was 2008 I went into high school. I'm in Florida. It wasn't fun. Oh, yeah, no, Sharon, for you guys in here, I know you guys take it serious. That's why you're in here talking and watching all the other content that you do. I just mean, for example, when Ian was coming through, I remember I wasn't on YouTube or anything like that with the weather, and I could see all the people posting on social media, on Facebook. I mean, shoot, the gym that I worked at, people weren't taking it serious. It wasn't until I started to explain what was going on that people started to finally, okay, maybe we ought to, because the general manager at the time was joking around about keeping the gym open because they got to make their money and, quote, sell kickoffs. And it's like, are you serious right now? We have a borderline Cat 5 hurricane coming at us, and you want to worry about selling personal training? So, that's what I mean. The air was extremely heavy, felt like one could cut it with a yes, Kevin, yes. I posted that as soon as I walked outside for the gym the other morning. I went outside and I'm like, did I just walk through a damn warm front in my front door? Or what just happened? Oh, I cussed. I'm sorry. I know last time I got scolded for it. I forgive me. But, yeah, it felt like I walked straight through a frontal boundary as I went outside. It was a cold front, high pressure in the house. And then as soon as I opened the door, all that warm air advection hit me right upside the head. I've been tracking cyclones since '04 middle school days and tornadoes in 2006. Very good. Florida men shoot at Hurricane Irma, telling it to go away. Police say, oh my God. I mean, you called that. There was going to be a bunch of tornadoes visible and rain-wrapped. Yes, definitely. I feel like Isaac and Sarah will be the worst storm of the season next year. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. We'll see. But, yeah, guys, so let's see. Let's try to rein it in a little bit. We've just been kind of talking, going through conversation. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, there really isn't a tremendous amount to talk about right now. I mean, there is and there isn't. Because the biggest thing that happened over the last 24 hours is we went from a whole lot of consistency. Like every single model was on the ball. Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 5-ish on the Euro. GFS doing its random stuff as it always does. And then all of a sudden today, it's like we just went kaplooey. And now everybody's out doing its own thing. We still have GFS doing its own thing, albeit at least the GFS is going to develop it now. GFS wasn't developing it before. Now it is developing it, albeit shooting it out to sea. The Euro does not want to develop it now, or maybe it does, but only a low-grade depression at this point. Icon and KMA want something to come of it. You saw the UK model. It also wants a tropical storm or a hurricane coming out of it as well. So, I mean, we still have decent agreement in terms of intensity. It's just now the track is completely going to waste. Florida man rides gator into the eye of a hurricane. Wow. I would do something like that. No, I'm just kidding. No, I wouldn't. Let's see what the 18Z Icon looks like out there for the tropical Atlantic. Let's see what the 18 Zulu. So there you have it. You don't see anything until 3 days out. We start seeing some development. And then, yeah, you can see the Icon really wants to develop it. The Icon is going in. This is already approaching a 990 tropical storm, it looks like, on the Icon model. And it's been very consistent for the last several days. But you see this right here? There's its escape route. That's what all these models are thinking. We have high pressure in the wake of that massive frontal system that's going across the United States right now. And then because of this, it's not going to allow this system to move in and sandwich that bad boy to the lower latitudes. So that's why if you were watching on my Instagram first thing in the morning, I noticed looking at the 6Z, I think the Icon is going to want to have it escape like this, and that's exactly what it's doing. KMA is on board with that as well. Actually, I should say the UK too. We looked at the UK earlier as well. So, well, maybe tomorrow it will change again. Hopefully not. It's wearing me out. I'll admit, I'm kind of glad that tomorrow is the last day I have to make a video on all this, because truthfully, and it was the same thing back in the day when COVID hit, and I would still try to post on my car social media. When there's nothing changing and there's nothing going on, it does get very, very boring to just say the same thing. Like, I don't know how some people can post 2 to 3 videos a day just saying the same thing. Oh my God, tropical wave, tropical disturbance, then 10 minutes later, tropical disturbance, guys, then 10 minutes later, tropical storm, and then 10 minutes later, now we have tropical, almost a hurricane, but still a tropical storm, and then 10 more minutes. It's, you know, and at this point, because it's still so far out, the only thing I could really make videos on is anything we see in terms of trends. And at that point, it's not even really a trend because it's only been a day. And that's why I wanted to blast out all the information yesterday, because I'd been seeing, you know, models intensifying it, moving it west. I'd been seeing that. And then all of a sudden we had it deepen down as much as it did on the Euro. That's when I'm like, okay, it's time to start mentioning something since everyone swears by the Euro. And then, of course, lo and behold, as soon as the Euro backed off, I had a few people lighten me up in the morning. You know, I'll admit, I was a little hot in the collar, under the collar at that point, because I'm like, let me guess. Yesterday, no one's going to say I'm hyping, because it's on the Euro. It's on the end-all, be-all Euro. So you know what? He's not hyping. It makes sense. It's happening. And then as soon as we woke up in the morning and it wasn't there, everybody was like, here's the keyboard. Oh, look at this Weather Center Nazario. He's over here hyping again, hyping a fish storm. And it's like, man, you can't win. And then if I don't say anything about it, everyone's going to be like, why didn't you say anything about the 929 hurricane in Puerto Rico? It's like, oh my God. Why don't you guys come and do the weather for me, you know? I'm pretty excited for the eclipse tomorrow. I was going to maybe put out a YouTube short or something on my Instagram about it. I just don't know how I'm going to actually shoot it or film it, because I'm definitely not qualified in that department. Who is ready for autumn chill? Yes. In fact, let's take a look really long range and let's see if we can get the GFS going all the way out to... Well, no, never mind. Let's not use the GFS. Let's not say we did, because I forgot. We're right on the verge of Halloween at the end of the GFS run, and we have a Cat 2 sitting in the Gulf. So, yeah, never mind. We're not going to take a look at We're not going to take a look at Halloween weather just yet. We'll give it a little more time. We'll get through the next week, and then we'll start projecting what Halloween is going to look like for a lot of us. It's looking like everybody from the Great Lakes, upper Midwest, down to maybe the start of the southeast quadrant of the U.S. could really see some good weather for Halloween. I mean, let's go up a little bit from here, because I trust what's happening over the United States way more than that flipping 973 hurricane in the Gulf all of a sudden. Let's go to eastern U.S. Yeah, look at that. You guys could have some great weather across... Well, no, it looks like the Plains is getting ready to see another low pressure come out of Colorado, but everybody from the Ohio, Mississippi Valley into the lower Great Lakes, down to the southeast coast, into the mid-Atlantic, even the northeast, although, you know, they might be seeing some lake effect wraparound snowfall with that, because you can see that we're down into the 516, the 528 line is definitely way down there, so... That's some frigid, cold air up there. Winter is almost in full effect for them up there, and we're not even there yet. So, I mean, Halloween is looking pretty good. Unless we do get something out of the Gulf, and we somehow miraculously get that random hurricane, I'll take it either way. You know, one way or another, no matter what the case may be, I'm still dressing up, Michael Myers, giving out candy, so it's going to be a good night regardless. If there's a hurricane, cheers. If there's no hurricane and it's cool weather, cheers. That's a win in my book. Either way you cut it. Pumpkin spice drinks. You know, I've recently developed a weakness for pumpkin spice drinks. I actually buy sugar-free pumpkin spice creamer for all of my coffees this time of year. Never fails. I always do that. And then because it's sugar-free and so low-calorie, I don't feel bad just going gluk, 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 into my mug. I think is my mug still in here? No, it's not. I got to show you guys there's a 100% chance of me telling you the weather or forecasting the weather or something like that. I think it will be January before I see cool weather. Hopefully not. Already snow on the ground in Fairbanks. Wow, okay. You know, with the way it's looking, we might see winter try to settle in a little early, albeit with this El Nino, things are going to look a little wonky, but with as potent of weather systems already coming down, that's wild. I'm trying to really think back to when I was drawing the analysis on a regular basis, if we saw frontal systems this intense, this early, so to speak, into fall. I could have sworn that we were still chasing the polar front and looking at random jet fingers and split flow at this time of year. I could be wrong, though. Yeah, I agree. It was definitely very hot. In fact, honestly, I would have almost rather be in Arizona again, even though it's a dry heat. You know, it's much better than having this 100,000%, you know, humidity out in the air all the time. Boo, the GFS, they need to re-engineer. Yeah, honestly. It's funny how October just did the opposite of what happened in January in my area. In January, it suddenly got warm. Now it suddenly got cold. A Cat 5 is an EF3. Yeah, exactly, Event. I was going to say a Cat 5 in retrospect, in comparison to tornado intensity, it's a very big difference. I just want my AC to shut down for the year. Oh, yes, when we snow in forest for Central Florida, I will definitely hype, lol. Yeah, you never know. I mean, with as much as the cold air is coming down, you just never know. If we keep seeing these warm surges out of the Caribbean, I don't think we're going to get snow, but I know I've definitely witnessed a number of instances where the Panhandle has seen snow flurries, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. What I'm also starting to get concerned about, and I maybe want to start educating people about this, and I know Mr. Castle in the chat will back me up, is we've already started to see indications of cold air damming along the lee of the Appalachians. And if we keep getting these systems out of the south, working their way right up into all that dammed air, that's a really bad freezing rain event potentially for the Carolinas, Virginia, and further up into the areas of like Maryland, Delaware. Never mind, I'm butchering my states again. Let me stop. But you guys get the big picture. what is showing on this screen share, and this is October 29th, 12Z. We're at the exact last panel of the... Oh, this is the 12Z GFS. Wait a minute. 12Z GFS had a hurricane on there. What did 18Z have on that? Oh, nothing. Okay, so there we go. Now we have no hurricane down there. We have another Colorado low, Texas low trying to spin up out there. Dare I say it, because I know we did away with regimes in Air Force weather. Blasphemy right there. But, yeah, it's still looking like decent weather except for the Northeast. If this is the case for us down here in Florida, then yeah, we are cruising. We are cruising. Halloween's going to be a good time unless this system can push in faster than, who did and ran. At least it's much cooler at night in Arizona. Yes, the heat dissipation in Arizona was glorious. Even during the summertime, you had to cook. And I can't recall, I can tell you the amount of times my old Honda Civic would overheat during the summertime out there. But then at night, it never failed. Windows down, good music blasting, especially after getting off of what we used to call a swing shift from 4 to midnight. Driving home at midnight was beautiful. Beautiful. And I can say this now because I'm no longer in the military, but I used to know a lieutenant. He's now, I think, either captain or major. I want to say he's major now, but we used to, no kidding, street race on our way out. He had a little Volkswagen GTI, and I had my Mitsubishi, and him and I would do pulls down Craycroft Road after midnight, after we would do shift change. Good times. The bad transmission. Yep, bad transmission. Yes, as a matter of fact, you know what? Oh, James, I used to love the EK Honda Civics from 96 to 2000. Favorite generation. I've only ever owned those ones. I think that's the 6th generation. I believe it was the 6th gen. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, though, it was the EK Civic. You used to see them a lot in Need for Speed. Not the ones from the first Fast and the Furious, the black EGs, the ones after that, the EK. Both of them were sedans. I saw sleet in January 2010. I remember 2009 blizzard in December. That was my last year of high school. Seniors got to see big snow last time Yankees won the World Series. Wow, time flies. Yeah, it really does. PM, honestly, just thinking back on that, I look down, and as exciting as it is Friday the 13th, I can't believe it's October 13th. 2023 is almost over, guys. Like, once Halloween hit, the fact that we're already in October, the holidays are like right here. It's like it's right there. Even back in August, September time, it really didn't catch up, but Halloween and all the rest of the holidays and then New Year's literally right here in almost arm's length. LMAO street race. Yeah. Mr. Castle also has a very funny story about street racing. Let's just say lesson learned. Lesson learned, folks. Just like they say in the beginning of the old Need for Speed games. Hi, this is Weather Center Nazario. The moves you're about to see in the game or on the big screen are not to be reproduced in real life. Please obey the laws of the road and wear your seatbelt. I'm a Honda fan. I have a Honda Odyssey that takes people by surprise. Heck yeah, you got that sleeper build. I've actually seen a number of Honda Odysseys and other, minivan, SUV crossovers out here that are either bagged or boosted, which is pretty crazy. I got to give it to them. Like, I would never do it, but I think that's pretty cool when you're willing to step outside the box. Has a hurricane caused a tornado with stronger winds than the hurricane? Because I see almost all tropical tornadoes. That's a great question. Whoever you are, I don't see a username with you. It just says has a hurricane and then a white dot. So forgive me, but to answer your question, not typically, because in hurricanes we once again have the different situations going on, and you're not going to have, say for instance, like, we'll use a trademark area where we see really bad, huge tornadoes. During the summertime, over the Texas Panhandle, West Texas, East New Mexico, you have what's called a dry line that sets up. And what happens is very similar to when you have, like, for instance, what's going to happen with us down here, when you have the cold, dry air coming in from the north and then the warm air coming up from the south, kind of the same concept. You get a little bit of that introduction of the cooler, dry air to the north, all that dry air advection in the form of that dry line to the west, and then you have that return flow or that surging of equatorial warm air and moisture coming out of the Gulf. And when they collide, that's a recipe for very bad weather, especially when you have mid-level winds going above 30, 40 knots at about 850, 700 millibars, forget it. And that's why you don't see too much in the way of strong tornadoes in hurricanes, because in reality, the hurricane is what is inducing those tornadoes. The spinning that's going on with each of the feeder bands, it's kind of like when you take your hand in a pool of water and do this. If you watch as you're doing that in the water, if you look at the water behind your arm, you'll actually see little whirlpools, and that's the exact same concept. As those feeder bands are wrapping around like this, you get little areas of spinach, little lower pressure areas that'll spin down to the surface real fast. And that's how you get your tornadoes in hurricanes and other tropical cyclones. So now all the 0Z track models want to recurve 94L. Where do you see that? We're not even at 0Z yet, buddy. Or, oh no, wait. Yes, we are. Let me see. Are you talking about on Tropical Tidbits? Oh yeah, look at that. They're all starting to curve out. Now, actually, yeah. Let me see. Let's go to a satellite image to where we can see. Here we go. So 20-degree north. They're not curving it too much, because when you look at it in retrospect, here's your 15-degree latitude line. I'm very impressed I drew that straight of a line right there. Wow. Look at that. Let's all take a second to admire that. But there's where about your 15-degree latitude line is. And if you come back over here and look at the chart, they're just barely squeaking past that 15-degree lat line. So these ones, the AVNI, the HMON, AEMI, they all want to curve it, but then these ones are taking a bit more of a steady west-northwest track. So if they can get above that 20-degree latitude line right there, that's when they're in the safe zone. And you can see it on this map a little bit better. In fact, you track it out, and a lot of these are still going right into the Lesser Antilles, or at least the Leeward Islands. A lot of them are. This cluster right in through here. So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this is going to be a huge bust. We'll see it. Francis in 04 spawned a record number of tornadoes, and the largest tornado was in Georgia, which was a tropical storm by then. I believe it. Francis, yeah. Hurricane Francis. I'm going to send you the screenshot through Instagram. Sure. Saving grace for Andrew was low population. Yeah. The largest was an F3 in Francis. Wow, that's pretty impressive for a tropical cyclone. Mechanics have asked you how it even runs, because the max airflow sensors had just been completely removed. The mass airflow sensors, you mean? Wait a minute. Yeah, how does that work without the engine either knocking or running extremely either lean or rich? That's interesting. How does that happen? How do you remove the mass airflow sensors and you still drive it? Because I know when I accidentally left my mass airflow sensor unplugged on my Mitsubishi Eclipse, I tried to turn it on, and all I got was boom, 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 boom. Terrible idle. Terrible idle. Huge vacuum leak. But yeah, you know what? I mean, at this point, with the way hurricane season's just... There goes my giant pen again. I don't know how that happens. With the way the hurricane season has behaved this year, I'm kind of okay with it being another potential fish storm. And I know that people are going to jump in my comments and they're going to say, fish storm, blah, 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 blah. Because you know what? And maybe this is my inner Halloween / Friday the 13th speaking. There will be more. There will definitely be more. Perhaps this was the easy season. Like PM has been talking about in the chat, maybe this was the precursor to what a potential real bad hurricane season could look like, especially under the right conditions. And if our ocean temperatures do not decrease over time, that's going to be very interesting to see. That'll be very interesting to see. And I know that sounds like hype in of itself that we're talking about 2024 just because this year is just about over, but, the models do recurve it. Check Discord. I sent you the longer range. I think, let me go to, let's see, I have my super ensembles here. I think we can see the longer range ones on this. Let's see, Invest 94. Yeah, there we go. So... there's where a lot of our ensembles are going. Yeah, I mean, there's still a pretty good spread. There's still some that want to track it to the south, and there's others that do want to take it out to sea. So this is like kind of what we've been seeing. There goes that massive ink again. I don't know why it does that. So there you have it. It looks like the most agreeable track is going to be this guy right here. That one. So, yeah, we'll see. We shall see. I don't mind taking the flak on a fish storm. I think I made the right judgment call, even if it was a false alarm. Because you know what? I'm sick and tired of people, whatchamacallit. Okay, I'm off to watch On Patrol Live. Enjoy the hype. Bring on non-convective season. Amen, Mr. Castle. Thank you very much for tuning in once again. Enjoy the rest of your evening, sir. I hope you can tune back in on Monday night of next week or at some point here in the near distant future, you know. Always a pleasure to see you in here, for sure. Trust me, it will go out to sea. Yeah. All right, no, never mind. I'm not going to say anything. We'll probably, yeah, it'll probably go out to sea at this point. We'll see. But, yeah, you know, you never know. There they go, moving it to the west, and then, yep, there's some that's spread out to the north. Who knows? Maybe after all this time, the GFS is going to be the one that's right. Watch the GFS all take us all by surprise. Because you look at 18Z and you can see it does develop invest. There it is, and it just shoots it to the north. So who's to say that the GFS might not be the one that's correct? We'll have to wait and see. We'll definitely have to wait and see. But, I mean, if you guys look over the United States, you can just tell. Look, front. There's nothing getting through there. There is no tropical system getting through there. Front's coming in. Like, there's no way. For the U.S., the season is definitely over with. Now, one thing I will say for sure is I really need people to stop jumping in my comments and saying I'm hyping when they don't even know what I'm hyping. Because I'm pretty sure someone was in my comments attacking me earlier and then all of a sudden said, there's no hurricane coming to the U.S. And I wanted to tell him, bro, what videos are you watching? Or are you just looking at the thumbnail and blowing me up? Because I've never once said the U.S. is going to get hit or needs to watch anything. The only thing I've mentioned about the United States is how intense of a wintertime pattern we're already starting to see. And if you want to call hype on that, by all means do it. Because I know you guys will back me up, and there's no arguing with the stuff that's going on out there right now. We have a lot of very intense low-pressure systems getting ready to form up, especially with what the GFS was showing, a 964 nor'easter. That's a borderline Cat 2 hurricane right there if you were thinking tropical. Yeah, the water temps are still very high, and I do agree with you, Diva. I think that's exactly why our pattern, not only over the tropics, but just over the United States for that matter, has been very, very strange, because the ocean temperatures have a huge influence on weather, a very huge influence, and more than a lot of people probably recognize. And that's more than likely why we've been seeing such differences in high pressures and low pressures and troughs, ridges, etc. I agree, yeah. Because if we have a neutral season, the only thing that's going to change is we're going to have more favorable conditions across the board. But yeah, guys, it is 9 o'clock. We are 20 seconds away from the hour mark. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping up this Friday Night Live. We got to say hello to a Mr. Voorhees. He will probably, well, no, actually, sorry, dude. This was the one and only Friday the 13th. And you can't have a month of Friday the 13th. I mean, you could, but then you'd probably just looked at like you're really weird. But we had him come in. He said hello. He has said his goodbye. I was going to wear this one. This is actually my genuine autographed hockey mask. I have all, or at least most of the actors and actresses on here. I have Tom Savini, Tom Matthews. I have Felissa Rose, Kane Hodder, Larry Zerner, who played Shelley in Friday the 13th, Part 3. Who else did I get on here? I could have sworn I got one more person. I can't find the autograph. But cool stuff. Very cool stuff. I miss going to conventions. Definitely miss going to conventions. Yes, FaZe, go ahead and Go ahead and ask your question. Brooke Ward, good night. We'll talk to you very soon. My idea on why we haven't seen multiple Cat 5 storms despite hot water is because water temps is a small part of the equation. Slower ocean currents result in more troughs. High pressure was small. I agree. No, and that makes a lot of sense. And a lot of people were definitely hyping and emphasizing how hot the water was, but that was, like you said, one piece of the puzzle. Sharon Jackson signing out. Good night, Sharon. We'll see you on Monday. Well, we'll see you tomorrow for our next full segment, but we'll also see you on Monday night for our Monday Night Live, and we'll see what's up out across the Northern Hemisphere. A month of Friday the 13th is the horror version of Groundhog Day. Yeah, honestly. Is it true that there will be an annular eclipse tomorrow? Yeah, we're going to have one. October 14th, for sure. Definitely. I'm excited for it. We'll see what happens. I definitely don't have the eye protection for it, but we're going to figure it out one way or another, because it's definitely not every day you see one of those, although I know that they usually happen once or twice a year. You are right about storm formation, ocean temps, just part of the overall equation. Oh, 175%. Zenful, I didn't even notice. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying goodnight to Sharon, but goodnight, Zenful. We'll see you on Monday. We'll see you tomorrow for another iteration for sure. Natalia, thank you for tuning in. Good night. Have a great evening and have a wonderful weekend if we don't talk or I don't see you in the comments or anything like that between now and Monday. I have to go to conventions. They are fun, but also work. Oh, I see. Yeah, I used to go to a lot of conventions in Phoenix, Arizona, but I'm not familiar with what they have going on at the Orange County Convention Center up near Orlando, so maybe we'll see what happens. The Caribbean is so hot this season system could be a Category 5 in the Caribbean. That's if it makes it in there for sure. I don't want to repeat today, a long day at work. Oh, I feel that. I definitely feel that, that's for sure. It was a long day it was a long week, but a fast one. I can't believe it's already Friday the 13th. It's such a bummer that you get so, I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, but it's such a bummer when you wait all this time and you build up to a big day, a big event, and then it's gone like that. That was literally me for for like the Halloween movies, for Halloween, for conventions, for car shows. Like the build up and the anticipation, and dare I say it, the hype is unreal. And then when it comes, it goes real fast. It's such a shame. That's why you really have to take advantage, and it's so hard. It's so hard. I need to practice what I preach, but that's why you need to take advantage of every moment that you have. Every moment that you have. Right now, we should be taking advantage of this chat, as weird as that may sound. I know this isn't anything extravagant, but who knows how many more chats or how many more live streams we're going to get. Who knows how many more, Tropics talks. Who knows how many more Weather Center videos. I know that sounds kind of morbid, but you just never know. This was the Friday the 13th live chat that we've been talking about, and now it's done. We're getting ready to close out. So it's kind of bittersweet. Are you going to the car show on November 4th through the 5th? What car show? Because, I'd be down to go, Ethan, if you send me the details. Somehow send that over. Yeah, what happened to this month? I don't know. November is below average in El Nino year. Yeah, I'm not too sure, Aston, what you're talking about. Aston, the solar eclipse could spark more storms in the Atlantic. I don't know how that works. I know the sun definitely plays a role, but I don't know about that. Let's keep this thing going all night. Well, see, the thing with that, Scrooge McDuck, is if we keep going, we're only going to have Friday the 13th until midnight, and then it's Saturday the 14th, and it just won't hit the same. I completely get what you're saying. Very understandable. Cherish every moment. Yeah, and I know that's very cliche. I know everybody says that, and no one really ever means it. Some do, some don't. But like I said, I need to learn to practice what I preach. There's one thing, and this is getting very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess very motivational or something like that. But there's one passage or one short that I once watched. I'm a big fan of Steve Harvey. For those of you who've watched Family Feud or any other of his comedy shows, big fan of Steve Harvey. And there was one short on Instagram that has passed through my inboxes multiple times, and I've even saved it myself to refer back to. And he goes on to say, not only should we not take for granted the time that we have, but we should not take for granted the opportunities that we have that others may not get to see on a day-to-day. Like some of us in here who were affected by the tornadoes, folks out there who were affected by the storms that did actually hit, the people who were in the line of fire from, there we go, thank you, philosophical, thank you very much, Scrooge McDuck. But he goes, people complain like, I got to go to work. I got to go to this meeting. I got to go see this person. I got to go to the gym. I got to wake up early. You change one word in that sentence and it changes the entire outlook on everything. I get to wake up. I get to get out of bed. I get to go to work. I get to go to the gym. It's those little things, and it sounds so cliche, so very mainstream, and oh yeah, of course, that's what everybody should be doing. But even though it's worn out and very saturated out there, it's a real thing. It's definitely a real thing. Like there's times where I could use that with these YouTube videos. I got to make a video today. I got to talk about this. No, I get to make a video today. I get to talk about this with you guys. I get to share the weather information and talk weather with you guys. Not, I got to do a live stream. I got to get my subscribers up. I got to write back in the comments. No, I get to do those things. You guys don't have to. You don't have to join this stream. You get to join the stream. You want to join the stream. And, it's all those little things. It's the little things in life that add up to the greatest changes and the greatest differences. Orlando Convention Center on November 4th and 5th. I wonder if that's hot import nights. You know what? Maybe that might be hot import nights. I'm not going to look at that right now. We're going to close out the stream and then I'll look. Waters are hitting 87 degrees Celsius in the Caribbean. Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa. We're not hitting 87 degrees Celsius, bud. If we were hitting 87 degrees Celsius, I feel bad for everybody out there. That means everybody is dead. And whoever's tuning into this live stream as I'm saying that, I'm not saying that about what's actually happening. If the waters are at 87 degrees Celsius, bud, that means everybody is dead. If you guys seen I Am Legend, it's like that scene where Will Smith is looking at Anna. Everybody is dead. Everybody is dead. 87 degrees Charlie, that's like approaching 150 degrees, 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Dang. Change your mind, change your life. Amen, I say to that. I love that. Got to take one day at a time and cherish each moment. Each day is a blessing on earth. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And it really is. It's cliche, but it is, in fact, the most difficult thing to do. It's the most difficult thing to do because, we get so wrapped up in the nuances of life and we let stress and anxiety and what you see around you all the time, you let it compound on itself. And it's so easy to lose track of the big picture. Like, oh, shoot, I said a Cat 4 in my video yesterday. People are going to say I'm hyping. But the big picture is, who cares if they say you're hyping? Weather changes. Model changes. Thank you for all that you do. I'm watching the next storm system to bring severe weather. My thoughts was when after watching you looks like 20th or so. Yes. David Howard, the 20th through the 22nd. Let's go ahead and start shutting down the philosophical tropics talk, the philosophical talk for the evening. We're going to start closing out because I know I got to get into my Friday the 13th gameplay. We got to go and run some Friday the 13th, and I'm very excited for that. So I don't want to take away from your guys' evening, but I also want to make sure that we can all enjoy the rest of our Friday night. So with that being said, you know the drill. We will see you tomorrow for another full segment of Weather Center Nazario. We will not see you tomorrow or Sunday for a video or a live stream, unfortunately. I don't anticipate things are going to blow out of proportion for Sunday. Last Sunday, we had an instance of, I don't like hyping this up to cause fear. And there was a reason we went to talk about it. But, I think we'll definitely see... We'll see things slowly but surely start to transition out of the tropics unless something tries to sneak up on us. But as of right now, we'll see you tomorrow for another full segment. And Sunday, we'll be taking the day off. So we'll see you again on Monday after our video tomorrow. Monday Night Live and then Monday afternoon update video to see what's going on not only over North America but in the tropics. Diva Jefferson signing out. Good night, Diva. Have a great evening. Thank you for tuning in as always. Can you see tornadoes coming like you can see hurricanes? You can follow, invest 200 hours down the line, but you cannot see potential. No, I know, silly, but I don't understand it, really trying to. Unfortunately, Thomas, the only thing that you could look out in the future is when your tornado dynamics are going to come in play. But it's very, very difficult to get even 10, 15 minutes of lead time on an actual tornado. This is Carmen signing out. Thank you, Nazario. Enjoyed your Friday the 13th special. I'm very thankful for that, Carmen. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. I know I sound like a broken record, and I wish I could offer more than thank yous, but I truly appreciate it. I genuinely thank each and every one of you guys. Have a great night. Thank you for the stream. Take care, all. This is Elite Chief Stark signing out. Everybody stay safe. Till next time, I am out. My friend over and out, Brian Selfmade Morris, signing out. Great stream, my friend. The best kept secret in the weather community. I'm going to keep that right here, Brian. I genuinely appreciate that. Thought we have a weather and man. Darnell, I'm not too sure what you were saying right there. There was a few typos in there I couldn't recognize. Like Steve Harvey. Yes, Steve Harvey's amazing. I mean, clips will start at 10 a.m. tomorrow. All right, I'll definitely keep a lookout for that. But all right, folks, we're going to go ahead and cut it. If not, I'm going to keep talking for the 20 minutes. You know how it is. So we'll see you tomorrow around 6 p.m. Another full episode of Weather Central Nazario. No live stream, no episode or live stream on Sunday for that matter, unless something, God forbid, changes. We'll see. We'll play it by ear, but more than likely, I don't foresee that happening. So if anything, guys, we'll see you again on Monday. This is Jason Voorhees signing out. And last but certainly not least, you guys know the drill. This is Weather Center Nazario signing out. Happy Friday the 13th, guys. We'll see you soon.